titles and everything straightened out. Make sure that the Twitch universe knows what it is that we're actually streaming at the moment. I wouldn't want to confuse anybody, because this is, as I mentioned, your Tulane Green Wave. It's going to be a big year for the Green Wave. Marquette Holmes and BB Higgins are both seniors. You can see here what the ratings look like. Brian Cole, a huge freshman recruit. Haywood, a junior point guard that's got some experience. Calvin Harris can play that 2 or the 3. I mean, it's going to be interesting, guys. Even at power forward, Kevin London, he was much higher rated previously. He's gone down a little bit, but I still expect big things from him. I think this is going to be an awesome year for the Tulane Green Wave. So we are forging ahead today on our super streaming Saturday for GM Games with some Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020. We will see how this goes. We'll see how the season goes. We'll see if I get in trouble with my wife. There may be more. I want to bring more. But we're getting through the Tulane Green Wave 2030 college basketball season. So this is actually, this Sunday, June 26th. We still got to recruit. I thought we already recruited on this save. Did I not keep that? Or did I just not do it? Did I make that up? I don't think we've recruited yet. It's been like a week and a half. Does anybody remember? I got 7 scholarships. There should be a ton of playing time available for next year. All right, so it looks like I need to build this out. We're going to need, first of all, our Southeast region. We're going to need a full recruit list, and we're going to need all positions. Or no. Let's go position by position. It looks like we need a little bit of everything except for probably point guard. Damn, I didn't realize we had to do recruiting too. I want to get through the season very badly. Point guard, we're all right. We desperately need shooting guards next year. We could use depth at the small forward. We could use a higher ranked power forward, and we're desperately going to need some help on the inside. So 7 scholarships. We're pretty much... Okay, so 7 scholarships, we're pretty much just going to need one of everything, and then we'll grab some depth if we can get it. Knowing my history with this game, the more scholarships I have, the worse that I do. So if we can even get one at each position, we'll call it a day and carry those over to the next year. So first of all, we need to go over and set up our recruiting board. So we got a full recruit list of the Southeast region. These are the point guards. Again, we're not desperate for a point guard. We can go ahead and add Jay Bass, who looks all right. These guys up here, we can add these two, because not a lot of these players have a whole lot of interest in us to begin with, and we've been developing it just fine. Shooting guard, we desperately need. Be nice to get some of these guys from these pipeline in Florida. We'll avoid him because he's pretty borderline on GPA and has no interest. Ooh, small forwards. If we don't get Alloway, there's not a lot else here. We'll have to. We do at least have the reports from the Great Plains, so we can go over there and check. Oh, there's that would be a huge power forward recruit. Love to have him. We can add the JUCO. This is one of the few times I'll add a JUCO. Skip the 2.3 guy. We don't want a 3-star JUCO. No thanks. Let's see what we got center-wise. There's an in-state guy, 4 stars. I mean, he's not in the top 100 or anything, but he's there. All right, let's check out our Great Plains region to get the rest of this squared away. How's recruiting? Breeze asked how recruiting is. We are just starting recruiting. We are setting up our list right now, so can't really say one way or the other how it is. We're just getting it up and going. We're a little light, though, on guys that are going to have qualifying scores in the 2 regions that I typically buy reports. I can't imagine I would have bought reports from anywhere else for any reason. We can now here on the shooting guard, because our 2 shooting guards are both seniors. So here's a situation where I would never add a guy with a GPA this low, but he's a JUCO, and we have no depth, like no young experience, no young players, whatever. And JUCOs will always qualify. So I will add Brad Washington. He's not at the top of my list, but he's at least worth considering. Of course, point guard's where we have a ton of options, and we don't even need a point guard. But, you know, the thing is, you can slide them over and they can play the 2. We just need players. All right, so I feel like I've got a decent list set up here out of our 2 regions. Pretty much everything that I want to go after, at least initially. So, call and watch list. Oh, I probably didn't buy an international report. Let's stick with our with what we've added. All right, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, buddy. This will probably be a long college basketball stream because we got to get through recruiting, and we're getting through this season today. And if we can finish that, and I've still got enough time for family stuff and all that, we're going to get an added bonus at the end. But I would at least like to get through this recruiting and this season today. GM games, Saturday, Streamapalooza, whatever you want to call it, Super Stream. Call and watch list, point guard only, all regions. All right, let's just get some film here. Yeah, it's a super episode of college basketball to begin with because we're getting recruiting and the games. But we threw in a little pro football earlier today, and then I've still got, hopefully, a little bit left in the tank later on, and we'll just see how it works out. No promises, but trying to make up to you guys for being gone all week. Oh, he doesn't want to visit. Now, I was actually talking with somebody or making a comment on YouTube earlier today. Somebody was asking about Hotkeys. I've touched on it before, but I know not everybody sees every episode. So you can see, guys, over here on the right-hand side, these little letters in parentheses are your hotkeys for each of these actions. So F will watch film, L will scout live, H will host the recruit, and if you're ever curious, you can click the help button up here, and here are all of your hotkeys listed. So it's actually got a whole lot of other information on recruiting if you have any questions. So we can still host 2 more recruits. There we go. All right, all of our films are out. All of our hosting recruits is out. So let's go ahead and advance. Whoa, I got that turned up way too loud. Sorry if that jumped out and pierced anyone's eardrums. You just learned B for both? I've always used both. I'm sure there's reasons to use just the watch list or just the call list. Especially when you run out of money, guys. If you're looking at like call and watch lists like I am right now, when you run out of money, these guys all disappear because they're not on the call list anymore. You don't have money to call them. So that can mess with you at first, but it's very much working as intended. So let's jump over and see what it looks like. Appreciate it. Didn't think it was worthwhile. Not worthwhile. Now we're going to get our summer camps. So let's advance through this. Would you do W and C for each recruit, like on the same recruit? All right, let's see what we got. Tom Block from Oregon, the camp MVP at Indy. Greg Coda out of New England? Nebraska. That's Nebraska. He's on our list, I think. Pat Smith, Pennsylvania. Delvin Bradley. Matt Williams. So it looks like Coda may be the only one. There's nothing from the Southeast in here. Coda might be the only one from the Great Plains. Unless, I don't know if North Dakota's Great Plains or not. Let's take a look down here at the East Coast All-Stars. So we've got Jeremy Simmons doing well out of Texas. Adam Butler out of Missouri should be one of our regions, unless that's somehow Midwest. Joseph might also be Midwest. Alexander's going to be Atlantic East. Hey, there's my boy Tony Adams out of Covington, Kentucky. I'm sitting in, well, I work work in Covington sometimes. I'm close enough to it. Georgia Superstar Camp, North Dakota, Indiana, Ohio, North Carolina. So Scott Shelton out of Florida, shooting guard. Definitely a good one to look at. Because realistically, we need 2 shooting guards. So Shelton here, doing well at Georgia Superstar, could totally be a viable option for us. Let's go and make sure, because a lot of times those guys that do well at Georgia Superstar can be 2- and 3-star recruits, and I know I did not add any of them to my list here. So let's go out and make sure that he's on our list. So here he is, way down here at 2-star guy. You just made the list. Let's go back to call and watch list, though. For all regions. And there he is, right down at the bottom. Let's get some film on the man. We didn't actually attend the camp, so we don't get an evaluation. Had I attended Georgia, I would have had an evaluation on him automatically from my coach being at that camp. But that was not the case. Now, for hosting and for scouting live, where were my 3? Ooh. All right, let's see who I can bring in here. Coda, Weston, and King. So those are also going to be the ones that we are going to scout live, just to try to generate a little bit of interest. And Luke Fox here is a 5-star. He's got some interest, so we can call him up, unlock some of these categories, see what we got going on here, if we got a chance at him or not. Coach discipline. All right. Got everything unlocked on him. And let's check out Charles Lutz. All right, so we've used all our phone time, so now we can move on ahead and see how these other summer camps go. I should have checked out Vegas before. Well, I guess I'm not really recruiting Vegas. Now to run my recruiting actions. All right, so Coda wasn't impressed. Weston wasn't impressed. King wasn't impressed. None of them cared for the visit, which sucks. It's fair enough. We're still Tulane. We're still working. We're working our way up to it, you know. Here's our guys at Houston. Greg Coda did well. So, I mean, it's obvious he's a player, but we probably don't have a chance at him. All right. Let's go get this week set up. We can keep trying to host some of these guys that are being stubborn. Oh. Isley, Fox, and Anderson. So we'll get all of them in person. And then we don't really need film on anybody else. Whoop. I think I clicked my middle mouse button and it did something weird there. So he's very much into location and school prestige. Location we can work with. So let's see if that holds true. He was top 10 at Indy Elite. We would definitely like to talk to you. This is the kind of player you want to bring at any school. We're going to go ahead and call him back right away. What's up, Alloway? I mean, we've got the pipeline on him. All right, we at least got his pitch areas unlocked. That's cool. So, bounce down to Lutz. Did we already call him? Yeah, that was dumb. I thought I'd called one of the ones that visited that decided they didn't have any interest subsequent to the visit. Oh, come on. All right, I'm skipping ahead. I'm tired of getting hung up on. Yeah, doing both with one button works out pretty good. Oh, look at that. Luke Fox is up to warm on us. So he visited and liked it. That's huge. That could be the inside replacement. I mean, nobody's replacing my man BB Higgins, DD Higgins, however you want to say it. Fox liked it. So that could be a decent attempt at a replacement. How about that? All right, we'll still try to bring in... Oh, it's a dead period. We can't do anything except for calls. We've called. Butler. I hate getting hung up on. I really, truly do. Let's see what my recruiting ability's up to, because once it gets up high enough, that really doesn't happen. It's at 71 right now. Let's skip past Butler because he's a jerk that keeps hanging up on me. Let's call Sims. They're all hanging up on me now. So the early guys wanted to talk, and now they're all playing hard to get. How about that? Tim Smith, Brad. Let's call Brad. A little JUCO action here. Maybe he's a little bit more mature. We'll have a conversation. Nope. Whatever. I'm out of here. Skip ahead. All right. Now we can host again. Anybody that would like to come. Alloway's coming. That's good. Lutz and Simmons. Ooh, Fox, Alloway, and Lutz. What kind of recruiting class would that be? I get the feeling it's gonna be a big recruiting class that's gonna make us want to come back for more. All right, Butler's out. Who else we got? Trenton Cox, Butler. Trenton Cox, that's a new one, I think. I don't think he was interested last week. All right, we're out of time for the phone calls. Next summer camp. We ought to get Memphis this week. Yeah, so we got a lot of guys headed to Memphis. So John Alloway from Florida. We already knew he was a very solid player. He got the MVP in Memphis. Lutz, also top 5, along with Albert Adkins from Kentucky, David Jackson, and Jefferson Buller. Are any of them on our list? So first of all, let's check out Adkins. No interest. Jackson and Buller. Buller has interest. Is he on our list? Let's check out Jackson first. No. But David Buller needs to be on our list if he's not already. And he's not. But he could be... Hold on. Sometimes these guys do well in camps, but they're not that bright, and they're never going to qualify. So we got to make sure it's not one of those situations. Where's this guy at? Shooting guard Jefferson Buller. Out of Georgia. Well, let's just go look at Georgia. Here he is. He's a 2-star guy. He's 2.5. He's got a little bit of interest. Let's go ahead and throw him on the list. because we desperately need shooting guards. So back to the call and watch list. And all positions. All right, so no more hosting, no more scouting. We can still watch film, but we don't really need to, and we're out of time on the phone. Doing a custom pro basketball 21 league, Breeze. That's cool. Doing it like how many teams? Is it like an NBA kind of thing, or what's your league setup? Oh, Alloway didn't think the visit was worthwhile. That's no good. Let's see. If he still has any interest, it's all right. But he doesn't. Ouch. All right, so he's probably not worth pursuing. The nice thing is, Lutz enjoyed it. We've still got Fox on the hook. Simmons enjoyed his visit. All right. We can still work with this, guys. The cool thing is a lot of these guys are visiting. If y'all remember, like a lot of the time, we were recruiting guys that would never visit. So that's very much not the case anymore. Yeah, I think about 16 teams is what my pro basketball league is, the one that I'm a part of. Definitely want to unlock some information on a small forward. Are you going to have actual NBA teams, or are you going to have custom teams? Hung up on right away. That's always fun. All right. Let's move ahead a week. Yeah, custom teams are cool. All right, let's start taking a look here. So Fox. Ooh, no notes here. We attended the Memphis camp, though, right? Did he not go to the Memphis camp? He must not have gone to a camp that we attended. I mean, he could have been like one of those players that goes to East Coast Jam and then doesn't go to a regional camp. But still, he's a 5-star player, and he's averaging a double-double in high school. We're going to throw out that offer for sure. Let's check out Lutz. Easily in the top 5 at Memphis. Top 25 at Indy. Lutz is definitely getting an offer. So now we just need the little guys. It frustrates me so bad that Alloway had a terrible visit. I've got enough scholarships. I'm just going to offer him anyway. I don't care. Jeremy Simmons was top 5 at Houston. He's definitely getting an offer. We've got all his information unlocked. Facilities and location are both big on him, so that's cool. Shooting guard, we need a lot of help here. So we got the JUCO there. Got Shelton and Bowler. Both did well in camps. Shelton's actually out of one of our pipeline states, while Bowler has got better points, less rebounds. Oh, it's kind of 50-50 here. Georgia or Florida. Or we take them both and just ignore the JUCO. I kind of want the JUCO here. I usually don't care for them, but I want it here. Just because we're losing both of our really, really strong players. But we've got a lot of other interest. So here we go. Bart Nelson's top 25 at Memphis. So let's see. Shelton was top 10 at Memphis. Top 10 at Memphis. And here's tremendous work ethic. Huh. I think he could do well with Buller or Shelton. He didn't stand out. Decisions. Bart Nelson, who's top 25. Oops. Romelli's not good. Shelton's top 10 at Memphis. A hardworking kid. And he's out of a pipeline state. Let's just go for it. And then we can throw one more offer out at a point guard, I guess. If we have one worth offering. Hardworking kid. Top 5 at Houston. We're second on his list. Yup. Adam Butler. There's our 7th offer. So, we've already got all of his information unlocked. So there are 7 offers. We can still host recruits. Let's go ahead and go back here and just host anybody that's willing to come. All right, got that done. Let's move on. Let's get on into these in-homes and see what happens. Check out our inbox here. We got full inbox. Uh-oh, look. Marquette Holmes and BB Higgins both nominated for the Norton. Let's see how highly they're ranked on the list preseason. Oh, come on. I was hoping one of them would be really high. So BB Higgins at 42 and Holmes at 41. Scrolled right past Holmes and saw Higgins. So our guys are 41 and 42, but that's preseason. That can change for sure. Sims liked the visit. All right, we're on August 14th. Chugging on along. We're going to be at these in-home visits before we know it, guys. Let's see if we can get any more in-homes. Not in-homes, on-campus visits is what we're looking for right now. And now I'm going to come through here and just see all of these guys that I've offered. Is there anything else we can unlock as far as information about them so that when we get to those in-home visits, we can make the best pitch possible? We can still unlock facilities on this one. This might actually be the rare time when I have 7 scholarships and don't completely gum it up. I got a good feeling about this. That's what we just unlocked. And that's everything. Oh, is that everything? No, we still need Shelton. We're 3rd on Shelton's list. That's good. Oh, come on. Give it to me, buddy. All right, we got a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and advance, and we'll get the rest of it before the visit. Probably will actually prioritize Washington out of the 2 shooting guards. Because we got Shelton and Buller, and either one of those, like, I'm 50-50 between the 2 of them. I just took this guy because he was in a pipeline state. But the hang-ups are really annoying. There we go. All right, so now all of our offers are unlocked. We're going to move straight into in-home visits. If y'all saw there, we still got about $9,000 in our team budget. So we're doing all right there. And look at this. Delvin Bradley, the number 2 center in the nation, just went from no interest to a little bit of interest. And we're going to host him. We're definitely going to call him. Let's try to call him again. He's highly enough ranked. I don't mind if he hangs up on me. That's all right, man. You probably got 1,000 coaches calling you. I totally get it. Agalia's probably over there calling you, offering you Xboxes and stuff. Justin's definitely offering you some illegal assets. All right. 2 more weeks and we're at a home visit. And when it comes to making custom logos, I have no idea how anybody does it. There are a handful of people in the pro league I'm in that actually make them. So, I mean, it can obviously be done. It doesn't take anything special, but I certainly can't do it. All right, 1 more week. Here we go. All right, so there we go. Right out of the gate, that center committed to Syracuse. We can pull him off our list. Nobody else on our list committed. There's a lot down here that have moved up to warm. There's a lot of interest down here, honestly. So, Luke Fox out of Florida. Big time on location. I think we got a better chance at Simmons, and he's top 5 at Houston. Let's talk to him about facilities, I think. Lutz, I definitely want to jump in and talk about location. And we need to visit one of the shooting guards for sure. So let's try Washington. And we will talk to him about facilities. And let's see how that goes. That's all of our visits. We could still do on campus, but we'll see how this goes. All right, guys, so we got 2 decisions here between Lutz and Fox. I did notice that we have 1 scholarship available again. So one of these guys committed, one of them decided to go elsewhere. And I'm excited either way. I think Fox is probably the better catch, but we desperately need a center as well. So any big man here is going to be huge. So let's see what we got. Lutz is coming to Tulane. Fox, the 5-star, decided to go to Georgia Tech. And that's all right. We can deal with that. I mean, that was a really outstanding player. So, I mean, you can see here, top 20, number 4 in the nation. So we can go ahead and pull him off. Now let's see, because we still do for sure need a power forward. Let's see how these guys did. So he's top 25 at Memphis. He's looking good right out of the gate. Tim Smith was also in the top 25 at Memphis. So both these guys are solid stats-wise. Smith is a little bit ahead on points. He's slightly ahead on all the statistics, and our coaches like him better overall. When we look at ratings, Sims is a better defender, which I do put a lot of stock into the defender aspect. Also better at blocks. I have no idea why Smith's that far ahead. So again, we get a situation where they're basically, when I look at these two guys, they're very similar. This looks to be slightly better score, but out of a power forward, I don't necessarily need that. So I think I'm actually gonna make my offer to Lionel Sims here. Chris was selling something to somebody on the internet. No, BB Higgins, he's still got a year left. That's why we absolutely had to get back and simulate this year. That's why we're doing this year today. That's why it's a special day. This is the senior year for BB Higgins and for Marquette Holmes. So it's a huge year, but we're desperately recruiting these inside players because we need some replacements. And the good news is, right out of the gate, our very first commitment, Charles Lutz, number 38 overall, number 6 center in the country. He looks like a beast. So we offered Sims. We need to unlock all these categories. Yeah, this is a huge episode. This is the defining Tulane Green Wave episode, for sure. So he's huge into academics. I think we're decent on academics. I think we can compete there. B+. I mean, we're no Georgia Tech, but we're all right. So I mean, we might as well go in and talk about what he wants to talk about. All right, so power forward's a priority. Shooting guard is also a priority. Let's go in again and talk to Washington about facilities. Small forward, we for sure need a backup. Simmons, we've got a legit shot at. We're number 5 on his list. That's cool. Let's definitely talk about facilities with him. All right, so now it's down to Allaway, who would be just an absolute stud. Let's swing for the fences here. Let's see if we get anything out of him, because if we don't on this visit, we can cut bait and move elsewhere. Nice little look at our upcoming schedule for the year. Looks like our only ranked game in the non-conference is going to be against the NC State Wolfpack. Oh, that sounded like a lot of emails. We're going to have a lot of decisions. Oh, shoot, and here we go. Oh, and we got Simmons. We lost 2 guys. Allaway clearly is one of them. He went to Auburn. Let's jump over and see who else made decisions. So we had 4 decisions. We know we lost Allaway. He can't see himself playing for us. We know we got Simmons. All right, so now, again, we're in a situation where Sims and Washington, we know we got one and we lost one. So let's see how this plays out. Brad Washington is going to go to Iowa State. So we lost the JUCO shooting guard, and we pick up Lionel Sims. And Lionel Sims was that other power forward. So again, here's a guy. He was decent, not spectacular at Indy. And then he was top 25 at Memphis, so he did pretty well. 15 points a game. This is a good recruit, guys. He's going to be fine. Yeah, I've trimmed video before. I always used Lightworks. And that's a thing where I tried to get somebody else onto it like a year ago or 6 months ago maybe. And they said the free version was no longer what it once was. So I had a really killer free version of Lightworks and I could trim video all the time. I have no idea if it would still work or not because, like I said, whoever it was I was trying to help out said that it was a totally different beast now. And I haven't actually trimmed video lately because I'm super lazy and I just started streaming. So when you stream, you just throw it all out there and you don't have to trim anything, which is awesome. It's my favorite thing about streaming. All right, quick look over here at the guards. So we did lose Washington to Iowa State. We're still in on Shelton. And Bowler is still there. So I think we extend the offer to Bowler, right? Yeah, I guarantee there's free video editing software out there, Breeze. It's just the one that I used previously is apparently no longer quite as good. At least their free version. So I wish I could help, but I don't know. I haven't done it lately. I would search for Lightworks. I think that they call themselves something else now, or at least their free version is called something else. But, I mean, you could always check it out. And it was easy enough software to figure out. I mean, this guy's into location. I don't need to do anything other than just pitch location. Oh, we're out of budget. That's not cool. Can I? Yeah, I can. Can I visit? No, I can't visit, can I? I don't have enough money. Yikes. We ran through that budget quick, like. Well, that's really frustrating. I had like $9,000 a couple of weeks ago. It must have been the outer region visits that were crushing us. It's like $1,000 a piece. Alright, so that's going to hurt. The good news is we did not need a point guard. What we need desperately is a shooting guard. And the two that we're targeting are actually fairly low. At least as far as rankings, as far as stars, all that sort of thing. So, and we did get our visit into Bowler. So now, I mean, we're out of budget here. We can't really do anything else except for just advance. See what happens. Did we not get any of them? Oh. This is what I was talking about before. These guys have dropped off of my call list because I no longer have budget for them. So let's see. We at least lost one player. See how many decisions we got. Butler. He's going to Kansas State. So we lost that point guard. Luckily, we did not need that point guard. So we need to switch over to just our watch list. So we still got offers out to both the shooting guards. Point guard, all of our targets are gone. Small forward, we've got a target. Power forward, we landed one. And center, we landed one. So I think we're good here. Shooting guard is what we really need. We've still got two really good targets there. And that's really all we need to pay attention to as far as recruiting goes. Everything else is just going to be this season and how it plays out. So, guys, anybody that's been with us throughout this journey on Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020, we had 4 or 5 long years with Florida A&M. We got to Tulane. We've done some good things. We've been to the Sweet 16. But this season is where it's all going to culminate. Our best 2 players in program history are both seniors. Oh, we lost another decision here. We lost one of the shooting guards. Bowler going to LSU for real. Running out of money hurt us. If we could have been visiting these people, we would have had them no problem. So we lost out on one of those lower ranked shooting guards. Hopefully we can pull the other. Otherwise, we're going to be in deep, deep trouble at the shooting guard position. Because the only 2 guards on our roster next year, I believe, are Cole and Haywood. Smith's a walk-on. Holmes and Harris are both going to graduate. Graham's a walk-on. So, yeah, these are the only 2 scholarship guards we've got that are scheduled to be here next year. Now, we'll still have Jones and we'll add Simmons, so maybe Simmons can slide down if needed. But I'd rather not need it. I'd rather just grab a guard. How do you, Chris asked in chat how to find the guys that shoot well from 3. Well, I mean, I think one of the things, if you're looking for shooters, you definitely want to look at the guys, you want to look more at the recruit notes. That's one of the things I think will show up in the notes. Because a lot of times, let's take a look over here. Shoot, that was the wrong one. Twice in a row. If you look at the player's notes, a lot of times it's going to give you tendencies, because you don't get any kind of 3-point like percentage on this. He's just telling us he doesn't want to come. Let's look at somebody that actually came to our school so that we maybe get some decent examples. Simmons. It's not giving anything. Of course, they won't give me a good example now. A lot of times it'll tell you player tendencies in these notes. Like here where it says Charles loves to try to take the ball to the basket on offense. So, that's going to be one of those player tendency type of notes that's going to tell you he's probably less of a jump shooter and more like if he gets it mid-range, he's going to try to get to the basket. So that's what I would look at if I was looking for shooters. I would try to focus on, obviously, outside players. I would 100% be looking for this outside rating. But I would also look for those notes. Those three things, like position, rating, and notes all together, is really the best way to do it because you don't get a ton of other information on them. Well, yeah, you can get the A from outside shooting, but what you also want to get is an A on scoring. Because somebody can be a great outside shooter, but if they're not a great scorer, then it's one of those things, and I try to find like examples in the NBA that everybody knows. Like JJ Redick. JJ Redick's a great outside shooter, right? And he can score. I mean, he would, he's probably like a C, maybe a B- in scoring. So JJ Redick can score, and he's only shooting threes. But like Larry Bird is an A at both. He's a scorer, he's a shooter, he can hit the three. So if you want guys that are just going to rein them in from outside, not only do you have to have the outside shooting, but you've also got to have the A scorer. And I mean, the more that you add to that, like the higher ranked, the better they do in camps, the better the overall evaluation, the better the athlete. All those things are going to play into it. And then once you start adding in, like, okay, we're also running a 5-out. We're also running, favor the outside or heavily favor the outside. Then you can just build on that. Team incident. Brian Cole and Jonathan Harris got into it, did they? All right, Brian Cole. Yeah, there's something to worry about. Thank you, sir. And was it Calvin Harris? No, Jonathan Harris. And he apologized quickly. So cool. All right. Forging on forward. So Chris in chat said he got a top 10 indie player, but he's holding the team back because he's just chucking and never hitting. You can take a look and see if he's equipped to hit the outside shot. And if he is, it might be a thing where he just needs to play through it. But if he's not, you can always go in. Like, for example, if I go in and call Brian Cole, I can talk to him about playing style, and I can tell him, shoot more mid-range jumpers, try and post up more, try and drive more. So if it's just a thing where he's trying to do something he's not well equipped to do, you can go in here and ask them to do something differently, and they'll work on it over time. But if he's equipped to do that, then you either give him playing time and let him try to shoot his way out of a slump, or you bench him. I mean, that's where you're at. For running out of money, I'm pretty happy with this class. We really needed guards. But these were all 3 good commitments. I just really took my eye off the ball as far as our budget went. All right, guys, we're getting close to the season. This is a season that everybody's been waiting for. Higgins and Holmes, senior year. It's coming down to it. The season begins. All right, guys, whole lot of different things going on today because this is your Saturday, the GM game, Saturday super stream, whatever you want to call it. We've already done streaming for an hour or so on the Pro Football 2021. Saw a lot of interesting things there. We're now into the second hour. We're getting close to hour 3 in college basketball 2020, but I can't stream for hours on end without running up and taking a break. So you guys chat amongst yourselves. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, and we're going to dive head first into this 2030 season that y'all have been waiting for. I've been waiting for. The world has been waiting for. Higgins and Holmes. It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait for it. I'm really hoping to get back to the Sweet 16 or better this year, but quick break before we get to that. Hang with me. I'll be right back. All right, very much time to play this season. Freezer guitar. Yeah, we got all kinds of good stuff in the background over there. Play a little guitar for you. That would definitely make everybody tune out. There's Ron Majerus. I think that's Rick's son. No, that was 100% a fresh beer. It was in a dark brown bottle. There's not a whole lot of water that comes in that, I don't believe. I don't know how they do things in your neck of the woods. So we got our first game, guys. Home game against Central Arkansas. Let's get it started. Oh, first we need to check out our depth and make sure that our lineups are set correctly. So, no, they are very much not set correctly. They're trying to run Harris at the point. Now, would that work? Let's take a look at the roster. It could work, but I've got a feeling I want Cole there. Cole's got that jumper. He's a decent scorer. Now, this is also where you can look at, as far as outside scorers. I mean, when you're recruiting them, it's one thing, but once they're on your team, you get that rating for the field goal jumper. Cole can shoot from the outside, and he's a decent scorer. As a freshman, he can definitely dish it. His handle's a little weak. So 7 and 4 here whereas Harris is 7-3. So no. Okay, Harris is a better rebounder, better defender, a little better IQ, a little better athlete. And he's a senior. He's a senior. I would really like to let Cole run it. But you know what? After taking a look at that, a lot of times you let the computer run this. Hold on, let's check. So a lot of times you let the computer run this, and it makes decent decisions. So I'm okay with Cole being sort of a backup guard there. I like everything else that they're doing, I think. They're playing the starters pretty heavy minutes because Cole, and to a lesser extent Haywood and Harris, are really all we have at backups. Lisa's okay. Florence is getting a handful of minutes. I don't even know who he is. So I think that that's set up okay. I think we can let Harris run it for a while. I do think he'll be good, but Cole rather is a very one caveat. Let's see if he's very interested in playing time. If that's a big priority of his, we need to fix this. He wants solid minutes. So that could go either way. Let's play through about half of the season, and then we can check back and see what his mood looks like. I've found that the harder you go into your starters, the better. I'd rather give more minutes to better players than keep fresh players but be playing lesser guys. So your Central Arkansas Bears, is that what they are? Coming into Tulane. First game of the year, we take care of business. Oh, but we got an injury, but it was a guy I never heard of. Schaefer. Don't know who that is. So we're going to zoom right on past that. I did not see who our top performers were. I was distracted by the big flashing red message up in the corner saying we had an injury. Luckily for us, it's not one that's going to have a massive effect on our season, hopefully. So, pushing on. Tennessee Martin. I've actually visited the UT Martin campus. Went down there to watch some soccer, I think, years ago. Tennessee Martin Skyhawks. Whew. Look at Marquette Holmes, the senior, doing work. Look at Calvin Harris with 17 points. Looking, at least in that game, like a very good idea to let the boy play because he did work. Dropped 17 on him. I would have liked to have seen some assists out of my point guard, but, if you can't get anything else, I'll take 17 points. All right, so 2-0, good start, but we haven't really played any competition yet. I'm so excited about this season. Like, the players that are leading this team are so rock solid, but I'm really nervous about the lack of depth. Some foul trouble or some injury trouble would be deadly for us. Calvin Harris is a DJ. I'll be real interested to see what we do against NC State on the road. That'll be a crazy game. So now we're headed into Marshall, the Thundering Herd. They haven't played a home game yet. We haven't played an away game yet. So let's see what happens. Squeaker. But there was my boy, double Higgins. Like 26 and 12. Is that what he had? Well, let's check our inbox real quick. All right, so we got all these guys signed their letters of intent. That means they're all going to qualify. We're good to go there. Let's go back to here and go back and check that box score because I want to see what my boy D.D. Higgins did. Yeah, 12 rebounds, 23 points, 5 blocks, 3 steals, 3 assists. He filled it up every way you can fill it. Calvin Harris had a pretty good game, dropping 5 dimes. Marquette Holmes only had 12, did pull 7 rebounds. So, I mean, the starters just went to town. Absolutely doing work. Harris, the only guy that got a lot of backup minutes, didn't play great. And it looks like he was probably only filling in because Higgins was in a little bit of foul trouble. But we pulled it out there. We had a huge first-half lead, and then they clawed their way back in. That's that home court cooking, trying to take Higgins out of the ballgame. But you can't keep a big man out forever, and he finished the job at the end of the day. So it was a squeaker, but we pulled it out on the road. Sometimes you just have to survive and advance in college basketball, and that's exactly what we did there against the Thundering Herd. Home of Randy Moss, Chad Pennington, and who was our other quarterback? Byron Leftwich. What's up, Blazer? Glad to have you join on the stream, buddy. It's a big streaming day. We've already been up for quite a while, and we plan to go quite a while longer. As long as I can stay upright and not in trouble with my wife. Or until 8 o'clock when the Louisville game starts. Either way. Yeah, college football is back, guys. I'm telling you all, I was watching Syracuse and North Carolina play earlier, and they started doing these commercials about like football being back and sports being back, and I'm like getting goosebumps and stuff. It's crazy how long it's been without sports and how much the guys at Wolverine Studios, the guys at all these different developers that create these games, like how much of a bridge that has been. Can't thank them enough. Here we go. Florida Gulf Coast coming in to play Tulane. Yeah. So actually, I woke up this morning and I did the dishes and mowed the yard in anticipation of wanting to do this. So I had to take care of all the whole honey-do list beforehand. There we go. 11 points. Kevin London had a decent game. So, Jonathan Harris, Marquette Holmes a little bit. So some other guys pitching in here. I don't know. Oh, that could be a trouble. Andrew Jones with an injury. I don't know where Higgins was that game. But we definitely need to see what's going on with this injury to Andrew Jones. Bruised shoulder, 20 days. Okay. So normally if it's just like a 5 or 10 day injury, I'll let him go. In this case, it's a little bit more severe and it's a little bit longer. So I'm actually going to make an adjustment. I'm going to bring Harris over to the 3. I'm going to start Cole. Part of this is because of the length and duration and severity of the injury. The other part of it is just because I like Cole. I want him in the starting lineup, and it was close between him and Harris anyway. So now Jones can still play. So we're going to let the AI suggest a matrix just like this. Limiting Jones to 10 minutes a game. Yeah, I like that. That's going to be just fine. So we're going to swap that up. So, Blazer, things are going great in life. Things are going great on streams. My UBL Pro Basketball League is not doing so well. But, live and learn on that. It's only Season 1. The Tulane Green Wave, meanwhile, are on a rocket ship straight to the NCAA tournament and hopefully back to the Sweet 16 or better. Would love to see these guys make an Elite 8, if not crash the party at the Final Four. If anybody deserves it, it's Higgins and Holmes. Blood, sweat, and tears for the Tulane Green Wave for 3 years now. So, I mean, at the very least, with pulling a 3, 4, and 5 in the recruiting class, pulling that inside, and we have the 2 point guards, we at least have some starters for next year. So, even if no one else commits after running out of that budget, we're still going to be all right. And it gives us great reason to go back to the board and ask for more budget. So, St. Peter's Peacocks, winless on the season. This should be a beating. And if we don't do it, that's on us. Yeah, 25 points. Higgins, Holmes. Look at Higgins, 17 and 17. Holmes with 23. They filled it up. Higgins with 5 assists. What's my boy in there doing, dropping 5 assists and 4 steals? How are centers pulling 4 steals? He's ridiculous. Those 2 guys are Tulane basketball to me. There's not another Tulane basketball player that ever existed in real life I could even name, but BB Higgins and Marquette Holmes are Tulane basketball as far as I'm concerned. So far in their senior year, they're 5-0, off to a heck of a start. They finished November undefeated, headed into December here, and you know, there's you're not going to get to watch these guys much longer. You just won't. They won't be around forever. So now we're at New Mexico in Dream Style Arena. Staying undefeated, 20 points. Marquette Holmes went off. Kevin London went off. And Brian Cole, the freshman point guard, 17 and 5. Kevin London had a double-double, so we put the beat down on New Mexico. That was a heck of a road game to push Tulane out to 6-0 to start the 2030 college basketball season. So at this point, 100% looking like an NCAA tournament team. We've got to get into this conference, though, and see how it's actually going to play out before we can get a feel for how deep they can really go. What I really want to do this season, hopefully, is have a good showing in that American Athletic Conference tournament, because we've been put out early too many times. Oh, my goodness. NC State, the one big-time game that we have in the non-conference schedule. They were 15th in the preseason. They're up to number 5. So, let's see how this goes as Tulane goes on the road to face the number 5 team in the nation. This should be a battle of the undefeated. They can't hold down BB Higgins. They can't hold down Marquette Holmes. They got nothing for it. Let's get it, Green Wave. Oh, we got beat down. Higgins threw in the double-double. I didn't catch who else actually did anything. But that was a pretty bad beatdown. We lost by about 20 there on the road. And, you know, things like that happen on the road. It's college basketball. Everybody has an off night. What kind of team incident happened here? Brian Cole and Jonathan Harris got into another fight. So, same 2 guys that were troublesome earlier in the year be in trouble again. Alright, so he apologized quickly. Jonathan Harris, like, I've got nothing for you. Yeah, you're suspended. So Brian Cole, like, we definitely want to keep around. He's starting. He's going to be a big part of the team next year. Harris is providing some depth, but, you know, if he wants to act like that, he can go somewhere else. I'm not going to deal with it. Maybe we can get Jeff Lease out there on the court, and maybe he can develop a little bit like I was hoping that he would have. Ever since we brought him in, actually. So now we're headed back on the road. Let's see. Well, actually, this isn't on the road. This is going to be in a preseason tournament against the Iowa Hawkeyes on a neutral court, and Iowa knocks us off. So back-to-back games we lost, and Higgins was a no-show for that game. So back to the Agalia criticism of Higgins showing up big against nobodies and disappearing in a big game. He was nowhere to be seen in that preseason tournament. It looked like he only scored about 6 points. So back-to-back losses. We were off to a 6-0 start. Now we've dropped 2 in a row. It's looking ugly. Any tips for late game management seems to be where my teams are struggling. Blazer, that depends on 1,000 things. It totally depends on your team situation, whether you're winning or losing going into it, what type of offenses you run, what type of defenses you run. There's 1,000 factors as it relates to that. In general, when you get to the late game, I mean, obviously if you're ahead, you want to run clock. If you're behind, you want to press and shoot threes. If you're behind, you want to play a man and force turnovers. If you're ahead, you probably want to have free throw shooters in the game because they're probably going to be getting fouled. Other than that, I would lean on my more talented players as opposed to players that have higher energy. So like if you've got a really good center and an average center, and the good center's been playing the whole game and he's wore out, and the other guy has more energy but he's not quite as good, I would always go with talent over energy. Oh, late game management in if it's just a straight up sim and you're not playing in game, I don't know that it makes a huge difference. I don't change much of anything as far as sims go. Again, you can change a little bit of it depending on what situation you're finding yourself in more often. Like I said, if you're finding yourself behind and needing to come back and you want to increase the ratio at which you run man-to-man defenses or the ratio at which you run press defenses, you could change your offensive pace. If you find yourself ahead and losing leads late, maybe slow down the pace a little bit. Maybe you want to tweak your percentage of set offenses that you run. So like, you know, that percentage is basically set offense versus offensive freedom. So I tend to run at higher set offenses when I have more experienced teams and higher offensive freedom when I have more freshmen, like, you know, top 10 players that are going to start, obviously. So you could look at that to tweak. That would be the only real thing I could think of. So I don't go like into the box score and see how the games play out all that often. I usually just look at the final score and move on. Yeah, you know, the multiplayer league is a beast all its own. And I've been struggling in it this season, and I'll struggle next season just because, like, the way life works out. I wasn't there to get reports, and I wasn't there for the first day in-home visits, so I got pretty harshly shut out this year recruiting. I was really scrambling. But back to our Tulane Green Wave, 6-2. We're limping home after 2 straight losses. We got the Minnesota Golden Gophers coming in. Hopefully we can get back on the right track here, and we do by 25. Higgins exploded. Looked like Holmes also showed up. I didn't see who the other one was. But we're back on the right track, guys. We're 7-2. Nice little win there against a Power 5 opponent at home. So, let's push on towards this conference play. What was that? Somebody just scored 35 points. I didn't even see what team it was. It looked like an international player, judging by the name, but I don't know what it was. All right, so we're about a third of the way through this very dynasty-defining season. That's how we'll call it. Higgins and Holmes, senior years. Really, Higgins, Holmes, and Harris. So you want to get the Triple H there. That's the game. We got Triple H now. Once Triple H graduates, I'll work on HBK. And then we can have our entire wrestling dynasty in here. I really hope there's like a WWE fan that watches the stream and can understand what in the world I'm even talking about. Makes sense to me. North Dakota State coming in 3-3 on the road. We're 5-0 at home. We should be able to hold them off. Oh, it was closer than it should have been. I will say that. It was closer than it should have been. But Brian Cole had a good game. Higgins, he didn't do what he does, but he did enough, I guess. So what I would like to do now is see where is Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones is healthy again, so let's fix this depth chart. We're going to move Harris back to the point. We're going to move Andrew Jones back into a starting role, and we'll let Cole move back into his position as the 6th man, adjust those minutes, and now we're healthy and running again. Yeah, Breeze, we're going to be streaming. I feel like we've got at least another hour, maybe 2 left. We're going to see how this college basketball goes, and then we're going to see how much energy I've got for a little bit of a bonus here at the end. It's probably going to depend on how well they do, to be quite honest. Like, if this team goes to the Final Four, I'm going to be jacked and ready to stream for like 4 more hours, but like, they get knocked out in the first round. I might just have to go take a nap before the Louisville football game starts. Still so disappointed I mismanaged my budget in this recruiting season. This could have been a much, much better recruiting class. It should have been better. It could have been better. And that's 100% on me. I screwed it up, so... Hey, you know, Blazer, I mean, you can't be hard on yourself. Go back and look. I mean, people think I know how to play this game, but go look at what my success has been in that league. You know, it's all cyclical. You can't get ahead of yourself. You can't put too much on yourself. You can never take too much credit because, like, to some degree, it just is what it is. Like, it's cyclical. It's a little bit random. I mean... Don't beat yourself up on it. Just have fun with it. You know what I mean? You know, go out and recruit some guys and see how their careers work out, and create some rivalries, and talk a little bit of shit to Justin and tell him how he's a loser that bribes all his players, and everybody goes on about their business. So we got Northeastern coming in. They're 3-3 on the road. We're still undefeated at home, hoping to keep that going. But last time was a little bit of a squeaker. And this time was another squeaker, another 8-point win. So, guys, as much as I'm very, very into the starters on this team, the lack of depth, I think, is really showing. Because we've played a couple of close games that should not have been close at home. Yeah, Justin's a crook, totally. Yeah, I'm really hoping that the ACC's down this year, because otherwise Louisville's going to be in trouble. And probably next year, too. Louisville in the NCBA next year is going to lose their point guard, which is going to be devastating. I've got an international coming in that I hope can at least be serviceable. But, you know, I should have had 2 or 3 top flight, like top 20 players this year. And I missed the first week of recruiting, the first week of the in-home visits, and I got absolutely hosed. And that was just, you know, that's life. That pops up. So, oh, he doesn't run an honest business. You can't go look at all of my schedules. He was in there jacking around my schedules, I guarantee it. Go look at Ryder. We had 9 of our first 10 on the road. That was absolute nonsense. I got hosed by the commish. Oh, Gonzaga went on the road, took out Loyola Marymount. All right, so we are into January, folks. 9-2. We're headed into January. So our first conference game of the year is going to come on the road against the Wichita State Shockers. Where'd you get your transfers from, Blazer? On the road at Wichita State, and we take them out by 15. Calvin Harris, Marquette Holmes, B.B. Higgins. Triple H. The game. It's all about the game and how you play it. I'm going to have to get some Motorhead going before the end of this stream so that you guys understand what's up. Ten and two. Had 2 bad losses, 1 on the road, 1 on a neutral court, I believe. Back to back. But now we're back on track, and here we go. Now it's getting real because we got the Connecticut Huskies, the number 17 team in the country, coming in to Devlin Fieldhouse for an absolute Huge game in the AAC early. Lemmy is a god. Yeah, there's my Motorhead. Absolutely. All right, so let's see what we got. UConn versus Tulane. And we take care of business by 13. D.D. Higgins, Harrison Holmes, Triple H once again showing them how the game is played. It's just, I'm going to get tired of saying it before this season's over. Now that Harris is into the starting lineup, I think that's the best decision I've made on this stream, was letting Harris, the senior, stay at that point guard position over Brian Cole. Even though Cole's got all the talent in the world, he's going to be a heck of a shooter, a heck of a distributor. But, Harris is a senior. He's got all that experience. He's a better defender. So I'm really happy with that decision right now. I think we're playing a lot better with Harris at the point, even though it's not his natural position. Both of our losses, if you remember, were with Cole at the point, while Andrew Jones was injured. Connecticut's women's basketball is better than their men's basketball. At times, I think that you're absolutely right. Their women's program is absolutely top notch. But that's not to say they haven't had some unbelievable men's teams as well. You know, there's a lot of guys that came out of there. Kimball Walker, great player. Was Fareed Aminu, something or other. Ray Allen was a Husky, wasn't he? Was Ray Allen a Husky? I know Richard Hamilton was. Where'd Ray Allen play? Charlie Villanueva. UConn's had just player after player. Hoping somebody in chat will either correct or confirm. All right, so Tulane headed into East Carolina. And once again, Higgins just squeaking by Kevin London with 11. So London is definitely, I was a little bit worried. He had the huge, 4-star rating at first. He got dropped back down to a 2. But I think he's performing well enough. We're seeing that he's very much starting. He's starting caliber player, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Ray Allen was UConn, so UConn, you can't mess around with UConn. Roy Hibbert, or no, wait. Hibbert was Georgetown. But UConn had UConn was Hashim Thabit. So they've had their fair share of really ridiculously talented men's players, but yeah, the entire WNBA is just full of UConn Huskies. It's absurd. That program and what they've done is unbelievable. Headed down to Houston, take another win. Higgins and Harris. No Holmes tonight. Double-double for Higgins. You can't even be surprised at this point. All right, we're about halfway through January. I talked about halfway through the season, checking out where Cole versus Harris was. But just based on the results when Cole played, when Harris played, who's been playing well in games, I'm pretty comfortable letting Harris run in the point for the rest of the season. So we're going to stick with that unless something changes in a big way. A big-time losing streak or a big-time injury or something like that. But for now, we're going to let Calvin Harris run out his senior year alongside Holmes and Higgins as the Temple Owls come into Devlin Fieldhouse, looking to knock us off for the first time in AAC play, but they cannot do it. Higgins, London, and Holmes doing work. Yeah, Drummond. There's one that went to UConn that I forgot about. Andre Drummond. He was a good one. Cliff Robinson, a Husky. Nice. I would not have thought of him. I'm trying to think of other ones in my head. I would not have got to Cliff Robinson. All right, here we go. Headed into Tulsa. We are ranked the Tulane Green Wave, number 24 college basketball team in the nation. Headed into Tulsa for a little bit of a conference matchup. See how this works out for us. The Golden Hurricanes, the Green Wave, battling it out on the hardwood. Who comes out on top? It's going to be Tulsa by 2. Higgins with a monster game. Holmes did all. London with 15 rebounds, but we just couldn't get it done. Yeah, Rudy Gay, there's another one. He was a heck of a player. So we fall at Tulsa, guys, for our first conference loss in a 2-point game. We dominated on the boards and just could not get the basketball into the hoop. So that is frustrating as could be. Man. I'm going to get a little bit of a Tulane Green Wave versus the UC Bearcats. So we got a great conversation going in chat right now about UConn. Where's your UC Bearcats at? Got a little bit of history on UC. Favorite UC players? Got any Kenya Martin fans out there? Maybe, oh shoot, who else went to UC? There was a big-time point guard that went to UC. Outside of the Big O, obviously. God, I feel like I can see him and I just can't say his name. Tulane at UC. UC takes us out. So definitely the lack of depth is showing up and hurting us in a big way. Nick Van Exel. Yeah. He was a Bearcat. Damn, I remembered that right before I looked down and saw you saying it. But yeah, Nick Van Exel was a Bearcat. Big O, Oscar Robinson, he was a Bearcat. Kenya Martin. DeMar Johnson was pretty good. He was a pro for a while. Was it Steve Logan? Is that his name? He was a heck of a player for a long while. Yeah, you got to love Kenya Martin. You got to love Nick Van Exel. You got to love the Big O. The guy averaged a triple-double, right? Uh-oh, we might have a guest host coming down to coach a little bit of basketball with us tonight. Yeah, Lance Stevenson, that's a good one. Hey, you want to come guest host my stream? Give me an hour or two. All right, he doesn't want to guest host tonight. Yeah, Lance Stevenson was definitely a ball player. There we go. Back on track. Kelvin Harris, BB Higgins, Triple H. Right there in your top 3. Once again, taking care of business. Love to see it. Oh, we're nearly at 70 followers, guys. Yo, anybody in chat that's not following yet, make sure you're following. Let's jump up to 70. I like round numbers. I tried to get my son to come down here and co-host, but all he wants to do is play some other tractor game or something. So doesn't seem like he's going to jump in on that right off the bat. Jason Maxiel, good one. I might have to throw out some random colleges for Breeze to tell me all the players that went there. Oh, yeah, Danny Fortson. I knew they had a handful of big men, Maxiel and Fortson. I mean, Louisville played against them all the time back in the day, so those dudes were both very, very legit. I feel like there was somebody else that played with Steve Logan, but it might have been Max. Was it Maxiel? Wichita State coming into Tulane tonight. We took care of them on the road. Let's see if we can do the same at home. But yeah, this conference has got a ton of history. UConn, ton of history. UC, ton of history. Tulane, you got B.B. Higgins, Marquette Holmes. What more do you really need? So, a lot of history there as well. All right, family's getting antsy. I'm hoping to get to the bonus content. B.B. Higgins with the double-double. Jones and Holmes. Absolutely. You guys come up with any Tulane basketball players without using Google, and I'll make Chris give you something. You can be a free follower or something. Maybe we can get an emote. Can we get an emote? Hot Rod Williams. Who in the world is that? You can't just make up a name. I don't know who he is. Headed into South Florida. 7-2 in the AAC. South Florida is 5-4 into February now. Oh, just a squeaker, and we couldn't pull it out. And was that also an injury on top of that? Oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, it was just this dude. Sprained wrist. No worries. Never mind. So this guy... Oh, London expects starters minutes. He hates me. Isn't he getting starters minutes? He's starting. I don't know what he's complaining about. All right, so 7-3 in conference, 16-5 overall. Early February. I still think we're marching on toward the NCAA tournament, but that big, just the big accomplishment right at the end of the careers that I was hoping for Higgins and Holmes, looking a little bit shaky because there's not a lot behind them. Oh, what y'all know about my cards? How many of them y'all got? How many names can you throw out? Keep chat interesting while we keep moving forward here. Memphis and Tulane. I want to see what Breeze knows about my cards. Peyton Siva. Absolutely, that's my boy. Ain't nothing about strippers either. They did not officially play for us. Memphis coming into Devlin Fieldhouse. Dispatched easily. Marquette Holmes went off. 18-point victory, and we move ahead to 8-3 in conference. Siva was a heck of a point guard. He was so quick. And he'd get down into the lane and then, like, pull the ball back out. He was never one to get stuck or pick up his dribble in a bad place. Not a great shooter, but, man, he could move. He was quick. He could play defense. Wes Unseld, absolutely. The original Kevin Love. Wes Unseld was the first guy that liked to throw those long full-court passes on the outlet every single time he got the ball. All right, Breeze. Later, buddy. All right, so Higgins was a quarterfinalist for the Norton. Where is he at? Up to 21st. Holmes did not make the list. Never Nervous Purvis. Well, he was a number 1 overall pick in the 87 draft, I think. 87 or 89. Must have been 87 because he was on the 86 championship team. I think he was the number 1 overall pick the year that the Boston Celtics took Len Bias. Is that right? Sometimes I get all this mixed up in my head, and I just like make believe things. Any of y'all remember Dr. Duncanstein? Tulane and SMU, 10-point win. Higgins with a... Do I even have to say it? Higgins got a double-double. I mean, it's like saying Higgins played in a basketball game. Ellison was 89. Oh, he might have been a freshman in 86 and then stuck around. Like, I get used to thinking, like, nowadays, anybody that's a freshman and super talented goes pro right away, but he might have been a freshman in 86 and then stuck around through 88 and then 89 gone pro. Maybe. I don't know. I make stuff up. No, Dr. Duncanstein, guys. Daryl Griffith. He was the man. The Doctors of Dunk back in 1980. So 4 years would make sense. I think that would make his freshman year the championship year. Ellison was like right there on the edge of me not, like, I don't remember back to Ellison. I remember like 90, 91, like Morton and Minor and that sort of thing. But I think Greg Minor actually got drafted by the Celtics, or at least signed by the Celtics in the early 90s, but he wasn't ever much of a player. So we're back to number 23 in the nation. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's the man out in Utah, for sure. Terry Rozier had a couple of good years with the Celtics. I don't know if he's still there, if they moved him out. Tulane headed into UConn. We're 9-3. They're 6-6 in conference, and we get the win. And look at Calvin Harris doing work, 26 points. Man, letting him play has been a great decision for this year. Like, we didn't quite have enough talent to have the record that we have to be ranked where we are. Hopefully to go where we're going to go in the tournament. But playing Calvin Harris some heavy minutes at the point has really worked out for us. I'm really, really happy with that decision. What about Montrezl Harrell? What do you know about Montrez? Was he the sixth man of the year this year? Taekwon Dean. Now you're speaking my language. Taekwon Dean, Francisco Garcia, DeJuan Wheat, Terrence Williams. Terrence Williams had a pretty good season with the Celtics. He just had some mental issues that didn't really allow him to succeed. He was a very good athlete, though. All right, ECU and Tulane. 13-point win. Higgins played a basketball game, guys. And he did the thing where he gets 15 points and 15 rebounds. But Gorgie Zhang, was he? I think he's still with the T-Wolves. He's on a pretty good contract right now. I think like 8 or 10 million a year, something like that. Playing ball. The Houston Cougars, 9-16 on the year, 3-11 in the AAC. So we talk about should wins. This is a should win. Yeah, Rodney McCray and Scooter McCray. I got Rodney McCray's autograph, actually, somewhere. I don't know where it is. My dad met Rodney McCray on a plane. So, yeah, very much up on the McCrays. Took out Houston. Higgins, 11-12. I mean, I don't. It's ridiculous. I cannot wait to get to the end of this season and go back and look and see how many double-doubles this dude got over his career. It's stupid. It's ridiculous how many double-doubles the dude has. (21-5), 12-3 in conference. So a handful of conference games left. And then, guys, it's time for the postseason, and it's time for our bonuses. So it's getting to be crunch time in this stream. We've had a pretty good day, I think. You're going to mow the front yard back shortly. You're going to miss the postseason, Blazer. Tell your wife it's the postseason on the stream, and you can't miss it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people on that cameo. That's pretty cool. You can't miss the postseason, Blaze. You can always come back and catch it on YouTube, I guess. All right, here we go. To the Temple Owls. They're actually having a pretty good season in conference. So, headed there on the road. This should be tight, actually. And they took the win. Look at Higgins. Jesus. So, Higgins showed up to play. I don't know where everybody else was. I don't know where Marquette Holmes has been this season. But Higgins showed up to play. Nobody else really did, and we fell to the Temple Owls. So, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating, for sure. All that said, guys, we're still at Tulane. We're 21-6, 12-4 in conference. Big picture, we're still looking pretty good. Yes, we're going to lose a lot off of this team, but we've got some nice young players coming in. Not only guys that are freshmen this year, but also guys coming in on this recruiting class. So very much full steam ahead with the Tulane Green Wave here. Tulsa. Why is Tulsa? I thought we already played Tulsa twice. Is this a tournament? No. All right, the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes coming on in. We went there and lost. Let's see if we can get a little bit of payback here. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of bit of payback. A lot of bit of payback. What, 24, 34? I think it's 24. 22-6, 13-4 in conference, number 18 in the country. Your Tulane Green Wave. One more conference game, guys, and then we're hitting the postseason. All right, boys, take care of yourself, buddy. Come back and catch what happens in this postseason, though, because this is the postseason of the stream. Like, I feel like everything we did at Florida A&M, everything we've done at Tulane so far is all building up to this postseason. I think we've had better postseasons in the past, but this one's going to be the one that I care about the most. So it'll be the most heartbreaking if we lose, but I don't expect us to. Cincinnati coming into Tulane. The Bearcats and the Green Wave. The Green Wave take care of business. Somebody's got a double-double. But somebody, God, this is the best center I've ever had. When I had last year Eric Alexander in the NCBA with Louisville, he was probably more talented. But as far as a 4-year guy that you could just build a program around, so I mean we're headed into the postseason here, so let's check out our regular season stats. Nobody declared. Higgins did not make the finalist list here. But let's go look at these stats. Higgins averaging almost 14 points, 11 rebounds a game, almost 2 assists, 2.5 blocks. They don't come around. They don't make him like B.B. Higgins anymore. I'll tell you that much. That guy was ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he was a 5-star recruit. We can actually check. So, yeah, he was number 19 nationally. Couple of second-team all-conferences. Last year was a first-team all-conference. He's going to be first-team all-conference again. I mean, he should probably be a first-round draft pick, to be quite honest. They don't make him like that very often, guys. Heck of a player. Type of guy that builds a program. Marquette Holmes, to be quite honest, had a little bit of a down year from a scoring standpoint. He did well with assists. He was actually our assist leader on the team. Harris and Cole actually had pretty similar assists, although Harris had double the minutes and a handful more points per game. Jones didn't quite get to double digits. Neither did London, but he was close. And he had good rebounds. So I've got Jones and London are a very good foundation to build around. Harris will get more minutes next year. Should be an improvement. We got Lutz coming in. We've got a power forward and a small forward coming in. So really, we're just going to have to hope that Cole and Haywood can hold down that guard position, or we could get a late commitment. So we'll see exactly how that goes. But guys, it's time for the postseason. The Tulane Green Wave headed into American Athletic Conference tournament play. The senior season for Triple H. Now we just got to get to the postseason. It either starts tomorrow or in a week. Must be next week. I guess it could be on the Thursday. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so it started on the Thursday. Here are your first round games in the American. We obviously got a bye. I'm not as worried about a good seed in the NCAA as I am like winning this damn tournament. We have underperformed too many times in this tournament. I want to win it now. This is for sure the year. We do not have the depth, but the starters are so solid. Like, we got to win a conference tournament for Higgins. So first off, we get Tulsa. We split on the year. Now we get them on a neutral court. We got to go out and take care of business, guys. And we do by 20. Higgins with a huge game. It looked like it was either Holmes or Harris. I didn't see the other one. Who was it? So Higgins, Jones, and Harris, all huge scoring games. Higgins with 15 rebounds. Jones and London with 8 and 7 rebounds. So they helped out on the boards for sure. And it was never in doubt against Tulsa. 75-55. We're moving on. So here we are in the quarterfinals. Semifinals. That was the quarterfinals. Semifinals of the AAC against an absolutely atrocious Houston team that would be embarrassing to lose to. So Memphis and UConn are going to play in the other semifinal game. Here we go against the Houston Cougars. Once again, on a neutral court in the American Athletic Conference tournament, the number 17 Tulane Green Wave versus the 12 and 19 Houston Cougars. And we got the 12-point win. Higgins played a basketball game. London also played a basketball game. Jones sort of showed up, but we had the dreaded red message in the top right. We got to go find out what that was. I really hope it was a team incident. Shoot, I didn't mean to click that button. I hope it was a team incident. Please don't be an injury. Shoot. All right, so it was an injury, but it's just Haywood with a strained calf. That's a backup guard. He's not playing huge minutes. It's not ideal, but there's a lot of other people. There's a lot of situations where it could be a whole lot worse. So, guys, here we go. The finals of the American Athletic Conference. We've got to hang that banner for our boys. Let's get it done. Number 16, Tulane. 25-6 on the year. The Memphis Tigers, 21-12 on the year. Who gets the banner? Let's simulate the other games for the day first. It says it's in Devlin Fieldhouse, but this is, we all know, this is a neutral court. This is an AAC tournament game. We've got to go out and take care of business. Let's get it done, folks. Let's get it done. God! They lost by 2. They lost by 2. Jeez, how do you lose by 2 to Memphis? I hate Memphis. How does that happen, folks? Higgins fouled out. Only got 22 minutes. No surprise. That's the only way they can. And Harris fouled out. How do you get this kind of nonsense on a neutral court? I mean, Higgins in 22 minutes still got a double-double, but Cole had 8 points, 7 turnovers. That's a freshman for you. So no conference championship. Memphis won the first half by 2, tied in the second half. Could not get it done, guys. Fell to Memphis in the finals of the American. So now we're on to the selection show. So, goal number 1, we did not meet, and that sucks. On to the selection show. Let's see where we end up. So, what? Number 16. I mean, we're a 4 or 5 seed. Oklahoma with the 1, UK with the 2, NC State, Texas, Utah State, and Utah. Okay. There's UConn with the 7. Villanova gets a 1 seed. Syracuse with a 2. Maryland grabs a 3. Bama with the 4. The Wolverines with the 5. Oklahoma State will take on Davidson in a 6-11. Creighton, Miami, Michigan State at a 8. Wow, they've fallen off. And Virginia. Those are your Cleveland matchups. On to Houston, where Florida State grabs a 1. The Zags with a 2. That's a surprise to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they win at all. Oregon with the 3. Stanford a 4. Tulane a 5. Taking on the winner of the Pittsburgh-Arkansas play-in game. San Diego State with a 6. Minnesota and Indiana in the 7-10. Ohio State and Memphis takes the 9 seed. In Albuquerque, Georgetown Hoyas grabbed the 1 seed. Marquette with a 2. A&M with a 3. Purdue Boilermakers at a 4. Your Tar Heels with a 5. There's the Gators, Wisconsin, Xavier, Nevada. All right. Man. Yeah, 5-12's cursed, but we're going to take care of business in that one. So very frustrated to lose that conference championship game. I really thought, I mean, you got 3 guys, 3 seniors who have a ton of experience, all the talent in the world. You've got to get it done at that point, and not to do it is just so frustrating. I understand there's absolutely no depth on this team, and that's a combination of failures of my recruiting and a handful of guys transferring out, but doesn't make it any less frustrating, I promise you that. Here's our Thursday games. I'm with you. Final 4 run. Here we come. 25-7 on the year. Let's make it happen. Arkansas won the play-in game. So Tulane Green Wave taking on the Razorbacks in the first round. Winner of the play-in game. And we get out of here. Get out. 30-plus points. Not on our level, Arkansas. Go home. Go home. So here we go in the second round. Now this is where we're going to take on Stanford. It's a big time Power 5 opponent. Let's see how these other games go first. You can see here Florida State took care of Memphis, but Florida State's number 6 in the country. So, Tulane and Stanford to make it to the Sweet 16. Let's all stretch. Let's get our Green Wave taking on the Cardinal. In the round of 32, winner goes to the Sweet 16. Who's it gonna be? Oh, your boy BB Higgins. Oh, your Tulane Green Wave. Marching on, surviving advance. Oh, yeah. In the NCAA tournament, we're rocking and rolling, folks. Once you get to the Sweet 16, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We're moving. So again, we go back, we think about that school history. Let's just take a look at this. NCAA tournament appearances, 8. Round of Sweet 16, 2. Both of those were us, and we just made the third one in, 4 or 5 years? So, I mean, this is year 5. I'm pretty sure we've been in the NCAA every year, but we can check. Lucky for us, I know how to check, at least in this game. Coach records, season recaps. All right, so here we go. So no, we were in the CBI the first year. After that, 4 NCAA tournaments. So out of the 8 that they've made in their history, we made 4 of them. This year makes a 5th, and it also makes another round of the Sweet 16. So it'll be the 3rd year in a row we've made at least the Sweet 16. But now we got to go take on Florida State. And Florida State just dispatched Memphis. Memphis beat us in the AAC tournament. It was close, but they beat us. But Florida State beat them by 20, ran them out of the gym. No. The Elite 8 was 2 years ago. Last year was a Sweet 16. It's not showing this year yet on this screen. This is the 2029 season. So this is very much not this season. So yeah, We went Sweet 16. Last year we went Elite 8. This year we're in the Sweet 16, and we've got to face up against Florida State to move on. So this is going to be a heck of a game. This is going to be an absolute throwdown. How many people are still in chat? Do we want to sim this, or do we want to jump in and watch this game? I'll let y'all vote on it. If we've got any thoughts, what you'd rather see. Do we just want to sim it again, or do we want to jump into the game and see what happens play by play? I know Chris is in here. He can jump in. I guess Breeze and Blaze are both left. Yeah, people are definitely coming in and out. If we've got any opinions on whether you'd like to see this just simmed or whether you want to jump in, let me know. This would get us to the Elite 8. I think we sim it and move on, because we never know. Like, if you win this, I'd hate to play this out. I'd hate to play it out though and win, and then like sim the next game and lose. That would be silly. So we'll go ahead and sim from here as normal. See how it goes. See what else we can get in. I hate to do it though. I'm so nervous. Like, this could be the last game that these guys play for us. They've been such dynasty builders. Tulane Green Wave, 27-7 on the season, the 5 seed, coming in to play the Florida State Seminoles, 28-8 on the season, but they're the 1 seed in this bracket. Let's see who's going to be playing in the Elite 8. Tulane center B.B. Higgins was held scoreless in Tulane's loss to Florida State. You're kidding me. Eight minutes, 4 personal fouls. That's ridiculous. On a neutral court, 4 fouls in 8 minutes. That is ridiculous. There's no way. 8 minutes. Took our best player completely off the floor. Yeah, I had talked about it before the last stream that this could be the last season at Tulane. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll see what other offers come up. I don't want to bail on people just because our first batch of recruits leave. Harris still played good. Holmes played good. We got a handful of other players that are going to be solid for this school. This really pisses me off though. The best player in school history gets 8 minutes, doesn't even get to attempt a shot, and has 4 fouls. And if he had 4 fouls, they brought him back in late in the game. So, he probably picked up 4 fouls in 3 or 4 minutes. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm so pissed off. All right. But the NCAA tournament marches on, guys. Let's see what we've got in these different regions. Oklahoma, Utah in the Elite 8. In Cleveland, it's Villanova and Maryland. Florida State, Oregon. Purdue, Texas A&M. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he gets drafted. We're going to get into next season and see that at the very least. All right, so in Boston, Utah, the 6th seed, headed to the Final Four, upset the Oklahoma Sooners. In Cleveland, Villanova Wildcats took out the Maryland Terrapins by 3 in Houston. The Oregon Ducks beat Florida State like they deserved, like we should have done. I guess the referees figured out how to see straight in that one. And in Albuquerque, the Purdue Boilermakers headed to the Final Four. Very interesting Final Four coming up here. If my bitterness is just like flowing through the screen, it's not really a surprise. Very frustrated. We are coming up on the Final Four, though. What is it, salt? Yeah, I'm definitely salty right now, bro. Definitely salty. No other way to describe it. That makes me very angry. That at least let him play the game and lose. I mean, we lost plenty of games this year. At least let him play the game and lose. 8 minutes is ridiculous. All right, so there was your Final Four. It looks like Purdue is headed to the national championship, and I didn't catch the other team. Ooh, Mike Bauer, look at that, 32-10. Looking good, Mike. Who will they play? The Villanova Wildcats. And the Villanova Wildcats are your national champions. So there you go, 73-60. They took care of business. Let's see what the awards look like on the national level this year. Yeah, we can go ahead and proceed. In the entire association, so Cole Rancic from Villanova got the Norton, the most outstanding player, the player of the year. Defensive player of the year from Oklahoma. Charles Peterson was a freshman of the year. And Josh Pastner from Oklahoma, coach of the year. All-Americans, Rancic, Peterson, Gilmore, Bauer from Purdue, and Lofton from Wisconsin. And your second team All-Americans are Drew Allison, Calvin Anderer, Rodney Dobbins, Robbie Thompson, and Brendan Frazier from Gonzaga. Let's check out the American. B.B. Higgins, Player of the Year. That's right. He's 100% Player of the Year. Marcus Collins, Defensive Player of the Year. Michael Stanley from Temple is the Freshman of the Year. And your boy, Coach of the Year. It happens from time to time. First team all-conference, Higgins and Holmes right there where they deserve to be. Second team all-conference, Kevin London. Now, if you had told me I had two first team all-conference players and one second team all-conference, I would have assumed the second team all-conference would have been Calvin Harris. But Kevin London sneaks on to the second team all-conference team there with 9.8 points a game, 1.7 assists, 6.7 rebounds. So really interesting there. But 3 all-conference players for Tulane. Don't tell me playing out the game would have changed things. I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that. Just going to be mad for a while. How about that? All right, so nice job. Prestige only went from 43 to 44. Really? So we made the conference finals. We made the Sweet 16. we had 20, how many wins? 27 wins and only moved from 43 to 44 in prestige. That's disappointing. You know, that's a bit of a reflection on how poor the schedule was, to be honest. I mean, who did we beat? We didn't beat number 5 NC State when we played them. We beat UConn. Who else is even ranked? Stanford? So 2 top 25 wins. Yeah, and Chris just said in chat he's having trouble moving up his prestige as well. And he's at Long Beach. And that's going to be because you're not getting good wins. That's all that it really is. Like, you got to beat high prestige schools to move up. And that's, you know, somewhat limited in conferences like this. So that's why your mid-majors stay mid-majors, is because of that exactly. We could keep having seasons like this, but all right, so this is available coaching jobs. Now we're only interested in head coaching jobs. And we've got some interesting ones, guys. We've got one that's been on my list for a long time. A few that have been on my list for a long time. I don't think there's any hard caps, Chris. I think it's just a matter of who you play, actually. So, for a long while, I've been thinking about doing a save at Colorado. And they're offering me a job. For a long time, I've also been thinking about doing a career, a dynasty with Nebraska. They're also offering me a job. And there's a handful of P5 schools on here. Colorado, Iowa State in the Big 12, LSU in the SEC, Mississippi State in the SEC, Nebraska, St. Louis, Seton Hall, and Texas Tech. All really, really good jobs. Iowa State and Seton Hall are both ranked 3-star prestige schools. Interesting. What do you guys think? Out there in chat, what do you think? Chris doesn't want me to pick Red Raiders. I'm not going to pick them. They don't interest me very much. It's a difficult decision. There's so many teams here that I wanted to be for a long time that now I have a chance. Princeton's got the academics. Grand Canyon actually has the best facilities in the WAC. What other opinions we got out there, guys? No, we're not going to Princeton. Absolutely not. Not happening. Nebraska's a definite maybe. Colorado, their facilities kind of suck. But at the same time, the Pac is going to be a lot easier to compete in than the Big 12. Or Big 10, rather. But then Iowa State's got 3 stars. Facilities and academics are both a B-. 54 prestige. 37 with Nebraska. 33 with Colorado. Nah, we're not pulling a school like Louisville from here. Really leaning toward Nebraska, guys. Oh, man. I think everybody else's keyboards fell off, Chris. All right, well, here's the thing. Colorado and Nebraska were both on my list of schools that I wanted to get to. And now here one of them is. Here both of them are, actually. Between the two of them, Nebraska has better facilities. Colorado actually has slightly better academics. So we could go either way. So here's the thing. Somebody else, I don't remember if it was Blazer or Breeze or somebody else, actually, I think they already did a dynasty with Colorado, so it's been done. I don't know if anybody has brought Nebraska out of the ashes. So that's what we're going to do. There we go. We're Cornhuskers, folks. We're Cornhuskers. We've moved on. You know, we had our Rattlers and our Green Wave. Now we got our Cornhuskers. Ooh. Welcome, coach. Little staff hiring. What we got kind of staff here at Nebraska? Well, Charlie Henry looking pretty good. Everybody else looks awful. So let's get rid of y'all. Sure, in Nebraska, they're used to hearing y'all, as I am here in Northern Kentucky. Yeah, we will. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get through the coaching hiring here, and then we're going to move through the off season. And I might buy like reports, but we're not going to get into any kind of recruiting or anything with them. Let's see what kind of skills this guy has. He's very heavily into scouting, player development, offensive skill, defensive skill, and player development. So we can actually, I'm okay with him as a first assistant as long as we change him to the practice guy. All right, so now we need a scout and a recruiter. Yeah, we're not going to go too far into it. As a recruiter, we can get... Ooh, Michael, why does he even show up? I don't know why a head coach even shows up. Like, can't beat that offer. All right, so here's Anderson, a third assistant with a recruiting ability of 60. We're going to jump in on him. Oh, first we need to see how much we're paying and what our budget looks like. So we're paying him $96 a year. Our budget is $218. So we can spend somewhere between like 60 to 80 on these other two coaches. But that's total. Let's offer him 40 because it's way more than he's making now. Actually, 50 just to see if we actually get him. I'd like to keep him. 1 year at 45. What is he? Second assistant. This guy's completely available. So let's give him, we give him 50. Let's come over here and go for 25. All right, so we got the third assistant and we got the second assistant. So our staff is full. Move on ahead. Oh, finish in advance. Yeah, we're good there. No, we have vacancies again. Somebody hire away our first assistant. Oh, come on. So now we need a new practice coach. That's a shame. Offense and defense. God, everybody that's halfway decent's already a head coach. Ugh. All right, well, at the very least, we can hire this guy. He's good at player development. I mean, offense and defense both suck, but we can't find a guy with good player development and offense or defense. So we might as well just grab him and pay him a little extra for like 2 years because I'm not quite that excited about him. Hopefully we grab him and we can just move on. It's not at all what I would like to have, but it's what we've got available to us. So let's give it a go. And he didn't take it, did he? Jareem Dowling? Did not take it. I think that you can outbid for a head coach, but I don't try it very often. Like, I mean, Michael White, what are we going to do with him? He's making $1.2 million. Give me a break. Try for Suarez. Oh, no. Dowling did commit. I just missed it. I didn't see his name on the list. My bad. Anderson is going to be recruiting. And so this guy can scout. Why has he got 3 stars across the board? Oh, there's something weird going on with this screen. He's scouting. He's recruiting. He's practice. And I don't know why that appears blacked out, but it seems like it's saved. Something's weird going on there. Yeah, so our assistant left for Tennessee. Thanks a lot, man. All right, we should be done with staff hiring now. Yeah, that was a good Tulane banner, man. I hate to leave it in the past, but it's so frustrating. Like, I'd have probably stuck around if there would have been a little bit of decent prestige movement, but just seeing like how stuck they are, it's frustrating. But I'm sure it's frustrating for coaches in real life too. But being in a Power 5 conference makes such a difference. I mean, yeah, we had big games with UConn and UC and Tulsa. But like now it's going to be Michigan State and Indiana and Ohio State. So let's see if we can get some better facilities right out of the gate here. Probably not, because our team was not very successful last year. Denied. Process through the end of this season. So what I would at least like to get to, I think we can get to the draft class. I'd like to see where Higgins and Holmes got drafted. I'm sure Higgins will get drafted, and Holmes probably will go in the second round. So I would at least like to see that before we call it a day on this College Basketball 2020 stream. Agalia's trash talking in NCBA. Of course he's trash talking over there because I'm not there. If I was in there, he wouldn't be talking like that. He's not coming in here talking like that. He knows we're live. I know he gets notifications and whatnot. It's going to be really fun when he has to own up to the fact that I'm going to beat him this year, even though I missed the update with all the scouting reports and I missed all of the updates with the in-home recruiting, and I'm still going to take him out. It's going to be real ugly for him. Not skipping the summer. 4 scholarships open. $95,000 to recruit with. All right, so we can see where Nebraska is on here, but I'm more interested in Tulane, to be honest. There's Tulane, number 13. So number 13 class in the nation is what we had coming in, and we totally bailed on it for the 123rd ranked recruiting class. So they're terrible. Not a shock. Let's buy some reports. Gotta grab... we could grab the Great Plains Gold Report. And I think I'll hit up the West. So it's 35. That'll be 59. That's all good. Great Plains and West. I think we can roll with that. Yeah, Tulane will still be interesting to watch, at least for the next 3 to 4 years, because they got, like I said, a handful of good young guys. I think for the next 2 years they'll be really good. Jones and London are very solid, as is Cole, and then those 3 guys we just brought in. Not doing any transfers. I just want to see where Higgins gets drafted. Oh, I forgot. I should have checked Higgins' final stats. We can probably jump over and do that at some point, but should have done it before we moved on from that season. I'm just curious. I think the guy threw up 60 double-doubles. Yeah, I cannot wait to see this Louisville football team get back on the field. It's going to be amazing. So excited about their coaching staff, their roster. It's going to look great, hopefully, tonight. I hate to go off on a tangent on camera. Chris is talking about the Louisville football game that's going to take place tonight. I'm pretty excited about it. He's also going to be working on a Nebraska graphic. Love to hear that. I think we're going to do big things here at Nebraska. Tulane definitely could have gone as far as we wanted to take them. The problem is just lack of competition to some degree. So here with Nebraska, we're going to get a Power 5 team. We're going to get a Power 5 schedule, a Power 5 postseason tournament, much higher conference prestige. You talk about conference prestige, I'm pretty sure Big Ten's number one. So a lot of advantages moving up here. The competition will be stiffer. It'll be difficult. I guarantee we are not going to make the NCAA tournament the first year. It'll be an absolute struggle in the second year. By year 3 or 4, we will, and we'll turn that around. So recruiting begins today. We can go in and set up our list. But the big thing that we wanted to finish off this episode with, the 2031 Pro Draft. Guys, let's check it out. I'm so excited to see where our boy went. Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Wisconsin. Where we at? There's Brendan Frazier at 12. Creighton, Kansas, Nova. Tulane, BB Higgins, number 27. First round pick, guys, at the Tulane Green Wave. We had a first round pick in BB Higgins. He went 27th overall. Let's see. He was 1, 2, 3. He was the 4th center taken in the draft. That's big time, folks. That's big time. Marquette Holmes went 44th. So, like I said, definitely a second round kind of talent. And Calvin Harris, at the very end of the second round, we had 3 guys drafted off of that Tulane Green Wave team. So there you go. That's our college basketball 2020 stream for the night. I feel like that was a really, really good resolution for our Tulane arc, for that story arc. You know, we took Holmes and Higgins to the end. Fell short in the Sweet 16. Fell short in the conference finals. And now we've moved on to a Power 5 team. So, I don't know. It's interesting stuff. I've wanted to do either a Colorado or Nebraska save for a while now. Here we are at Nebraska. I'm pretty excited about it. Excited to get to recruiting in the Big Ten. But that's definitely where we're going to cut it off for the college basketball stream. So, we're going to save it here. Blazer, we got knocked out in the Sweet 16 by the 1 seed Florida State, and we lost in the finals of the conference tournament to Memphis by 2. So, there we go. All right, guys. So, we got our pro football. We got our college basketball. Definitely getting close to running out of steam here on our Saturday super streamapalooza, whatever you want to call it. Who won it all? Villanova won it all. Villanova beat Purdue in the national championship game pretty handily, I think. But we've had too many requests, too many people interested. We're not going to go long. Like, I know pro football was an hour and a half. We've done 2.5 hours of college basketball now. We're going to follow this up. We're going to take a quick break, fix our titles, fix our headers and banners and whatever you want to call it. And we're going to come back with a little bit of TEW. There's too many people that have been wanting to see some more TEW. It's been too long since I've played it. I'm dying to get out some content for the TEW fans. And we're going to get a little bit of it tonight. It's been a while, so it'll be an experience, but we're going to get up a little bit. But let me shut it down. Let me update our titles and give us 5 or 10 minutes. We'll be right back, and you're going to get the conclusion of the Saturday Streamapalooza Super Stream from cards with a little bit of TEW, and we'll see if we can come up with a good and proper main event to send it home. I don't know. I'll book like 1 or 2 events depending on how long it takes. So we'll just see how that goes. But we're going to shut it down now, and you guys hang around, wait for the notification. We'll be back up very, very shortly, and I hope y'all are all coming back with me. We're still alive. I realize that. I'm saving, and now I'm shutting down. All right, be right back.